SkinnyGPanda here. So behind me are the Catskill Mountains. Some of the peaks are over there. It is a great sunset, really nice day. Dragon and I and Kurt decided to hike the Woodland Valley Trail up to the ridgeline. That trail is about 2 miles, 2.75, so close to 3 miles. For someone who has limitations like I do, that is a really extremely hard trail. There are a lot of inclines. A good portion of the incline is about a mile. It's super steep of an incline. There's rocks to go over and so forth. If you have any handicapped disabilities or things of that nature, I would suggest not doing the trail that we did today. From the way that it sounds, there seems to be other trails that could come up here that might be a little bit more easier, but the trail that we did is extremely hard. It took us about 4 hours to do the 3 miles to get to the camp, but as you can see, it is definitely worth it. This is my view for the night and going to be my view for the morning. So I'm really excited about it. There's lots of peaks over there. Super quiet. Had to go up some rocks in order to get down here, but just to show you our campsite, it's not that far from here, so I mean it's just a few moments of a walk. There is a spring down from our campsite about a half mile. We timed it because it is rocks coming up. It's one of the last steep climbs before getting to our campsite, and it took about 20 minutes just to go over that portion of the rocks from the spring. So tucked away back here is our campsite for the night. Dragon and I usually hammock, but I don't like to hammock outside of the comfort area of like kind of where I live. So in New York today we are tenting. So Dragon and I will be in the tent. I'm hanging up some of my clothes that I wore at the beginning to dry. Kurt's gonna be in his hammock over there. We just got done eating not too long ago, so that is our campsite setup. So this is one of the first campsites that you see, and one of the great things that I thought was hilarious is when we looked at the sign. Yep, there's a privy. So the privy, if we continue down this path here, you'll see it. It is probably one of the best ways of helping you get used to going to the bathroom if you're a beginner type person in the woods. I've been to lots of different privies. This one I've seen more in the west, like I've heard of them. Oh, I kind of went off the trail. I've heard of them in the west, but I've never really actually seen one. But this one has it. it blends in very well with the back, with the woods, the backdrop basically. So if you see it there, yep, it is a toilet. No door, nothing. So if you are going to the bathroom, kind of look at that. I just think that's so funny. Definitely something I would use out here. It's always fun to dig your own little hole when you need to, but if the option's given there and you stumble across one of those near your campsite, be sure to look into using it. It might make things a little bit easier instead of digging the hole and covering your deposits up basically. Well, that's it for right now. I will show you more. So this trail that we went on today, the 2.75, during that trail, because it was so hard, I didn't even get the GoPro out. I had to take my time. My ankle is severely flared up for the night. I had to take some anti-inflammatories tonight to help with it for tomorrow. But this trail is not a loop. So what we came up, as far as it being hard, is the same terrain we're going to have to go back down. So I'll be able to show you that terrain the more we do the hike. So the plan is, in the morning we are going to wake up and go to Panther Mountain. That's 2 miles from here, so we're gonna leave our stuff here and go the 2 miles, check out Panther, and then the trek 2 miles back. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna pack up our campsite, and then we are going to start back the about 3 mile decline back to the parking lot. So during that decline is when I'm going to show you the terrain that we came up, and why I felt that it was super hard, and why I recommend, if you have any types of limitations, joints in the legs, this is not a trail you want to start off on or possibly do if you're new to hiking. If you've been hiking a lot more frequently and you're really good at doing steps, then this trail is, you know, good for you to do. But if you're not, I strongly recommend not doing this trail and maybe choosing something that's a little bit easier. Do your research and see what your elevation gains are. On this trail in particular, the elevation gains at the parking lot was 1,000 feet, and in the climbs up here, it's about another maybe 2,000, 3,000 feet, because this is like 3,500 feet up. So definitely a lot of inclines to get up here. Well, that's it for the night. We're probably going to be going to bed soon. Maybe get a fire started and then start our morning. So I'll see you guys then. So we woke up a little bit later than what we originally planned for, at around 7. And we left camp at 8, and we're heading to Panther Mountain. The ridgeline hike over to Panther Mountain so far is pretty decent. It is definitely moderate, something anyone could really do. We are at our first incline. Supposedly this is the only incline. So I just want to show you guys some of the rocks we have to go over. So kind of zigzag up through that and go over to the summit part. So I'm a lot slower, so I let the guys go first. Because again, this hike altogether I consider to be extremely hard, especially with someone with my limitations. So I'm going to turn off the camera and get up to the summit, and then I will show you guys what that looks like for those that want to attempt this. So we are at the last incline. Dragon's already starting it up to the summit. So far, again, these climbs are pretty intense. It's been pretty rough for me to do this hike. I know it's only 7 miles altogether up to the summit and then 7 miles back, but splitting it up is definitely something you want to consider. So I won't be able to take you guys up with me up through this part. This is just what you're looking at, and because this is not a loop trail, we'll have to come back down this and back out to the parking lot. Alright, so I'll check back in with you guys. We made it up the last climb. We are as high as we can go now and should be coming up to the summit. Look at all us YouTubers trying to catch the same spot at the same time.
Yeah, I wasn't joking. It's really nice thing.
Yeah, I thought you were messing with it. Yeah, since you said your last hike was icy, kind of thought it.
Well, the sun can't get there.
I got some.
Alright, let's Facebook.
Oh, there's like civilization, sort of, right there.
Look, I can answer that.
What?
Any signal?
Oh.
No.
So yesterday I didn't film any of this because the climb coming up was pretty rough, and it was towards the end coming up to camp. But when you're on the ridgeline and you are coming up to camp, you do have this pretty steep climb to do, but the camp rewards you for the climb. It's just that I couldn't show you guys what it was at that time, but it's pretty steep and definitely have to be really careful in coming up this and also going down it. Probably don't want to do it with the GoPro in your hand, but you know, it's how we do it in the woods. So we're on day 2 of our hike, but yesterday we had to come up all of this. Yesterday was a big climbing day. I know I mentioned it in the intro, but went from about 1,000 feet of elevation all the way up to 3,500 feet of elevation, and the majority of it was in a 2-mile stretch. So it was pretty rough. It's really nice here though. Not much wildlife. I got more chipmunks than anything. But other than that, I mean, everything's growing in, so you get a lot of vegetation in its early stages that you get to see. I see a lot of mushrooms and flowers, things like that. It's nice to see it at the beginning of the springtime before you get hikers in on the trails. This is a really popular trail. This is probably a trail, if you wanted to do by yourself, you definitely could, because it is very well maintained. It's marked very well, and the amount of people on this trail is quite a lot. So if you wanted to hike it alone and felt you could take it on, definitely you don't need someone to do this with. But because a lot of people haven't been on this trail, we were talking about it earlier, but chipmunks. But that's the only wildlife we've seen on the trail. Other than that, we didn't really see any. I'll probably do it down in the car, but on this trail, I have my big pack on. Dragon and I waited before we started, so when we did this hike yesterday and climbed up here, my pack was at 26 pounds. That include the sleep system, water for 2 days, and food, camera gear. So not too bad. I definitely want to get that lower, though. My body really felt it by the end of this hike. Probably could have done this full hike all the way to the summit and back down to the car in a matter of less timing if I had my day pack on. Whew. That was a little rough. So if I had my day pack on, getting through that probably would have been a lot easier. There's more of the vegetation. See, not many people have been through here, so it's nice to get them while we can. And then once it gets popular and grown in, you're probably going to see more greens than flowers and so forth. Huh? So we just came down a really big climb that we did yesterday. Probably a good 1,000 feet of elevation gain in a very short section. But it's a very steep downward. And yesterday we came down this rock section. And this is when it really dawned on me that this is not a loop trail. It's a straightaway. And as soon as I got to the bottom, I was like, oh, glad I don't have to go up this. And they were like, yes, you do. But it is just a straightaway up. Not looking forward to it today. Really hurting with my ankle. So We'll see how well I do climbing all of that. Just going up. And then when we get all the way up it, go downward again into the parking lot. So this is the last bit. Not looking forward to it at all with a 25-pound bag. I'm letting the guys go up first because I'm going to be extremely slow. My socks caused my feet to get a little on the hard or on the wet side, so I have a huge blister on the back of my heel. I do have medicine and a moleskin on it, so at least this has steps right here. But when you have the limitations, or you're just not fit, don't let them rush you. Just take your time, do what you need to get through it. This is the Stairmaster right here, you know. It's easily probably 100 stairs that you have to go up. So hard. This is one of the main reasons why I didn't tape a lot of this yesterday. Because, I mean, even coming down this, oh, so intense. So we made it back to the parking lot. Dragon's there and Kurt's there. Started here yesterday. A lot of pros in this trip. So this trip was my first backpacking outside of Pennsylvania trip. Even though it was one night, it's a success. I managed to not freak myself out, not have any paranoias, and stayed in the tent and slept comfortable throughout the whole entire night. Also, I managed to stay around the campsite by myself. That's something that I haven't been able to do in a really long time, ever since I've gotten a little bit older and out of the child innocent age where fear really isn't among you. As I got older, fear started to be more potent, and being out in the wilderness alone was one of them. This was overall a really, really hard, intense hike, going up and coming back down. Definitely glad that I made it. It was 7 miles is what we did today. Yesterday we did about 3 miles, so altogether we cleared about 10 miles in the 2 days. Feeling pretty good. I'm gonna have the ankle up for the rest of the car ride home, get some food, and say goodbye to this trail and get it checked off my list. And looking forward to the next trail.